Welcome to Classics for People in a Hurry. Today, we're delving into The Moon and Sixpence by William Somerset Maugham, a story that poses a timeless question. Do we reach for the moon, chasing our wildest dreams, or settle for the sixpence, the comforts of a stable, predictable life? This tale offers no easy answers, instead pulling us into a gripping narrative where ambition collides with reality in unsettling and thought-provoking ways. To fully appreciate this novel, we need to first understand the man behind it, Maugham. Born in 1874 in Paris, Maugham experienced early years that were both charmed and shadowed by tragedy. Imagine a boy adored by his mother, living a carefree, privileged life, only to lose both parents before he turned 10. Sent to England to live with his uncle, he found himself in a rigid, unfamiliar world. That upheaval, that collision of warmth and loss, shaped Maugham into an acute observer of human behavior, someone who could pierce through the facades of social convention to explore what truly drives us. By the time he was 34, Maugham had become a literary sensation, with 4 plays running simultaneously in London's theaters, a feat almost unheard of. But it was his novels and short stories that cemented his place in literary history. Maugham had this rare gift. He could delve into the complexities of human nature without flinching, revealing the contradictions, frailties, and passions that define us. Let's unravel the haunting journey of Charles Strickland, the enigmatic protagonist of The Moon and Sixpence. At first glance, Strickland is unremarkable, a London stockbroker, the epitome of stability. For 16 years, he leads a quiet, predictable life, defined by work, family, and the unspoken rules of society. But in his 17th year, everything changes. Without warning, he abandons it all: his job, his wife, his children. He steps away from the life everyone else would call good to chase something raw, something consuming, something no one can quite understand. Strickland doesn't just leave. He vanishes. He escapes to Paris, leaving behind confusion and scandal. Rumors ignite. Did he run off with a lover? Is this some unhinged midlife crisis? His wife, desperate for answers, begs the narrator, our guide through this story, to track him down. And when a narrator finds him, the truth is more baffling than anyone could have imagined. Strickland didn't leave for romance or adventure. He left because of an unshakable, almost feral compulsion to paint. This man, who had no training, no apparent skill, no history with art, sacrificed everything for it. He lives in filth, destitute, yet utterly relentless. He doesn't paint for fame or fortune, he paints because he has to. As Strickland himself says, a man falling into water doesn't ask if he can swim, he struggles to stay afloat or drowns. His passion is primal, almost otherworldly. What makes Maugham's narrative so compelling is its perspective. The story is told through fragments, accounts, observations, and the narrator's own biases. Strickland is a puzzle we're never meant to fully solve, a figure both distant and painfully real. And in this ambiguity lies the brilliance of the story. It forces us to confront our own interpretations of ambition and sacrifice. Strickland's obsession, however, comes at a cost. His rejection of societal norms isn't just an act of defiance, it's an act of destruction. He abandons his wife and children without remorse. He betrays Dirk Stroeve, a fellow artist who admires Strickland's genius and offers him kindness few others would. Stroeve feeds him, shelters him, and nurses him back to health, only to be repaid with betrayal when Strickland seduces his wife. It's cruel, unforgivable, and yet Strickland remains unapologetic, driven by a singular purpose that renders him indifferent to the wreckage he leaves behind. But here's the twist. Despite his flaws, his selfishness, his coldness, it's impossible to dismiss him entirely. Strickland's pursuit of art is absolute. His work, unappreciated by his contemporaries, possesses a raw, unfiltered truth. It's not just art. It's a manifestation of something deeper, something elemental. The story reaches its climax in Tahiti, where Strickland retreats in search of solitude and inspiration. There, he marries Ada, a local Tahitian woman, and dedicates himself to his craft. For a time, he finds a kind of peace, but even paradise isn't immune to tragedy. Strickland contracts leprosy, and as his body deteriorates, he loses his sight. Yet he continues to paint, with Ada by his side, helping him bring his vision to life. Together, they create a mural, his final masterpiece, one that encapsulates the entirety of his life's passion and torment. And then, the ultimate twist. On his deathbed, Strickland makes a chilling request: destroy it all. Every painting, every fragment of his work, even the house that holds them, must be burned. And Ada obeys, turning his life's work into ash. What's left behind isn't a legacy, but a void, an echo of a man who lived entirely on his own terms. Let's dive into what makes The Moon and Sixpence truly extraordinary, a story that seems simple on the surface, but resonates deeply because of its universal themes and Maugham's sheer mastery as a storyteller. At its core, it's about the tension we all feel. Do we reach for the moon, our dreams, our ideals, or settle for the sixpence, the tangible, the safe, the familiar? And what makes this tale unforgettable is that it doesn't offer us neat answers. Instead, it plunges us into the life of a man who dares to choose, no matter the cost. Let's start with Charles Strickland. From a moral standpoint, he's despicable. He abandons his wife and children, destroys the lives of those who try to help him, and shows an almost pathological indifference to anyone who gets in his way. Yet, as a literary creation, Strickland is mesmerizing. He's not a hero or even an anti-hero, he's something entirely unique. Characters like him didn't exist in earlier literature. He's not bound by conventions, and that originality makes him unforgettable. Whether you love or hate him, you can't stop thinking about him. Now, let's talk about Maugham's approach to storytelling. He believed that a great novel needs a clear, compelling plot, one with a beginning, middle, and end, all connected with purpose and logic. And The Moon and Sixpence is a masterclass in that principle. The story flows seamlessly, drawing us deeper into Strickland's world with every page. Think about the opening. Strickland is a stockbroker living a perfectly ordinary life. He's stable, respectable, a man society would label as successful. Then, without warning, he walks away from it all. It's shocking, almost incomprehensible. But as the story unfolds, Maugham takes us on a journey that makes this drastic act not just believable but inevitable. Through the narrator's fragmented accounts, flashbacks, and observations, we see Strickland's transformation from an unremarkable man to someone consumed by a need so profound it eclipses everything else. This is Maugham's genius. He makes us believe in the extraordinary. Strickland's obsession with painting isn't just a quirk, it's his entire existence. He's not driven by fame, fortune, or even recognition. He paints because he must, because anything less would feel like suffocation. And while his actions are often monstrous, there's something profoundly human in his relentless pursuit of meaning. The parallels to Paul Gauguin, the post-impressionist painter who inspired Strickland's character, are clear. Like Strickland, Gauguin abandoned a stable life to pursue art, facing poverty and exile before finding peace in Tahiti. But Strickland isn't just Gauguin's fictional twin. Maugham takes the bones of Gauguin's story and transforms them into something mythic. Strickland's actions, his eccentricities, his towering intensity, these are Maugham's inventions, and they elevate the character into a figure who feels larger than life. And yet, for all its grandeur, the story is deeply personal. It asks questions we've all wrestled with. What does it mean to follow your passion? How far would you go for your ideals? And at what cost? Strickland's journey challenges us to reflect on our own lives, to consider whether we're chasing our moon or clinging to our sixpence. But here's the brilliance. Maugham doesn't judge. He doesn't tell us whether Strickland is a hero or a villain, whether his sacrifices were noble or selfish. He leaves that to us. And in doing so, he forces us to sit with the discomfort, to grapple with the contradictions, to ask ourselves what truly matters. Let's reflect on the enduring brilliance of The Moon and Sixpence. Since its publication in 1919, this novel has defied the passing of time, gripping readers across generations with its provocative questions and unforgettable characters. Imagine the world as it was back then, recovering from the turmoil of World War I, desperate for meaning and escape. Into this landscape, Maugham offered a story that was equal parts exotic, unsettling, and profound. Tahiti's lush backdrop and Maugham's sharp critique of bourgeois life combined to create an irresistible narrative. But why does this story stay with us? Why, more than a century later, does it still feel so alive? It's because Maugham wasn't just telling a story, he was holding a mirror to the human condition. At its core, The Moon and Sixpence confronts us with a timeless dilemma. Do we cling to the safe and familiar, or do we reach for something greater, knowing it might cost us everything? It's the choice between the sixpence of reality and the moon of dreams. Now let's talk about Charles Strickland, a character as enigmatic as he is infuriating. He starts as a nondescript stockbroker, a man defined by routine, duty, and societal expectations. Then, in a single, seismic act, he abandons it all, his family, his career, his reputation, for a calling he can't even fully articulate. Critics, including the great Catherine Mansfield, have debated this transformation. She once said Maugham failed to show us Strickland's inner evolution. She wanted more than his simple declaration, "To hell with it." And maybe she's right. But perhaps that abruptness is the point. Change, especially the kind that reshapes a life, doesn't always come with a clear roadmap. Sometimes it's a moment, a spark, and suddenly everything is different. That unpredictability makes Strickland's journey feel raw, real, and profoundly human. What makes Strickland fascinating and maddening is his contradictions. He's selfish, ruthless, even cruel. Yet, he's also a genius, consumed by a vision so pure it eclipses every other aspect of his existence. He forces us to wrestle with uncomfortable questions. Can great art justify great pain? Should we admire the work while condemning the man? And can we ever truly separate the two? Maugham doesn't give us easy answers. Instead, he paints a world where beauty and destruction coexist, where genius comes at a cost, and where human relationships are as fragile as they are essential. Through Strickland and the people he touches, his proud wife, his loyal yet tragic benefactor, we see ourselves reflected. Our flaws, our yearnings, our contradictions. Maugham's characters aren't just creations, they're us stripped bare. Let's wrap this up by revisiting why The Moon and Sixpence remains a timeless masterpiece, a story that continues to provoke, inspire, and linger in our minds. First, there's Maugham's unparalleled gift for exploring humanity's deepest questions. This isn't just a tale about one man's journey, it's an examination of art's origins, the essence of genius, and the perpetual tension between individuality and the demands of society. It's about creativity colliding with the constraints of ordinary life, a theme that resonates universally. At the heart of it all is Charles Strickland, a character who defies easy categorization. He's maddeningly selfish, often cruel, and yet undeniably captivating. Strickland's unrelenting pursuit of his artistic vision forces us to confront the complexity of genius. Can we separate the brilliance of the work from the flaws of the creator? And what does it really mean to live authentically? Then, there's Maugham's narrative innovation, a first-person observer piecing together Strickland's story through fragments and second-hand accounts. This approach invites us to act as detectives, assembling the truth while being reminded of its subjectivity. It's a narrative that keeps us engaged, constantly questioning what we know and how we know it. And let's not forget the meticulous structure of the story. Every event, every revelation feels inevitable, yet never predictable. From Strickland's shocking decision to leave his family to his isolated, tragic end, the plot unfolds with a natural rhythm, drawing us deeper into his world. Finally, the title itself, The Moon and Sixpence. It's a question we all face at some point. Do we chase the moon, our wildest dreams, the pursuit of greatness, or settle for the sixpence, the comforts of stability and routine? Or maybe it's a reminder to balance both, to appreciate life's small treasures while reaching for something more. Now, here's my question for you. Are you chasing the moon, holding on to the sixpence, or finding a way to do both? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If this story resonated with you, hit like and subscribe for more timeless tales that spark reflection and inspire curiosity. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep questioning, and keep finding meaning in the journey.